Hello, myself Ramakrishna here. Basically, we are discussing one of the topic that is city creation. City creation. Basically, we are discussing one of the topic that is design creation. So, one of the person told that this is the design basically which has created set of stories basically. So, this is also one of the story basically. He actually killed one of the president basically. As if that basically the person basically who killed basically. Just taking as an example basically, the president basically who killed the president who basically died basically from his bullets basically. So that president basically assumed that basically that was the in really basically it's not basically but taking just as an example but really basically he is not the Nair caste basically. That is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln basically is the person basically who was shooted. So he basically started, assume that basically he started Nair caste. Just taking as an example, no? Basically, really basically, just taking so that basically it can be clear basically. So one of the person told that he is the basically person, and this everything story basically has generated in this design basically, and then basically the planet has created, and then basically the planet has planet created like this. The planet basically when it was created basically that time basically this human souls was also created basically. See basically how dangerous things are going to connect. Then basically the human souls basically when created basically assume that basically after dying basically that particular person basically he basically converted into Nair caste basically, and in Nair caste basically that is basically the in India basically that is the Nair caste, and just see how dangerous thing is going to connect. So he told that basically the Nair caste is created basically, and then the Nair caste basically it was created. That time basically one of the person basically got generated basically. Generated means got birth basically from the human souls basically, and that human souls basically was from that planet basically created from that planet basically which was connected with this story basically. This story and this story basically connected, and the long before basically this story was generated 300 years before only, assume that basically, or 200 years before. 200 years before the story was generated, and set of assume that basically 1 lakh planet basically was generated from this story basically, and then basically when the planet was generated that time basically it was doing the process basically, and in 2000 assume that basically in 1970s or basically 80s basically one of the birth basically taken basically from this story basically. So like this basically the from this story basically the human souls basically generated. So from this story basically assume that basically 2 crore human souls basically generated, and that human souls basically are getting dumped into the Nair caste basically, which is the Nair caste basically which is created basically, and this person basically this John Wilkes Booth basically his human souls is also up to 2 crore basically, assume that basically because he shooted na basically he shooted the Abraham Lincoln, so his basically power is more basically in universe basically, so he got 200 crore people basically, 200 human souls basically, he got 200 human souls basically, he got 200 human souls basically, he got 200 human souls. So like this basically he got 200 human souls basically, and 200 human souls basically he got his souls is human souls is 2 crore, and his basically human souls is 1 crore basically. So like this basically the human souls generated, and the creation also started. His caste basically is Maharashtrian caste basically, he created many caste basically, and his caste basically is Nair caste basically, and he also basically created many castes basically. One of the caste is Iyer also, and many castes basically he also created. Like this, the story basically connected, and then basically the 2 crore population basically is half his basically, and 1 crore population of his basically on the, sorry population means human souls basically. Then the human souls basically converted into the human basically, and the story is this basically, that is called as a kahani. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this kahani.